Hello and welcome back to the channel. As always, I'm Morgan. So this week, we're just gonna kind of have a little bit of a chat and a little bit of a talk right now, because there are a few things going on that I would like to talk about, specifically about the wildfires that are currently all over the western United States, and a little bit touching on some climate change and addressing the fact that we do have a very important election coming up here in the next couple of months. So right now, as of the time of recording anyway, I'm looking at the CAL FIRE incidence map, and in my immediate area, there's not a red blip in my own backyard, but I'm looking at the skies where I am, and they are constantly hazy for the past few days. I have no idea what time of day it is at any point during the day, because the sun is not really that easy to see. I'm constantly playing, is that smoke or is it overcast? And usually the answer has been both, depending on what time of day it is. Now, that being said, I'm not in the Bay Area where they're seeing the bright red skies and the horrible post-apocalyptic views, but I do have loved ones out there. I do see those photos, and I have to say, this situation is scary, and I've also seen some things going around on different outdoor backpacking Facebook groups that I'm a part of being shared. And one of the things that I noticed was there's one narrative saying that the logging makes these fires more intense, which is not entirely untrue, but there's other people, like our own lovely spray tanned person sitting in the Oval Office telling California to clean our floors. However, I think the word he meant to use was ground, since I don't really see how cleaning up Chewbacca's shedded fur will help the wildfire situation. But that's neither here nor there. The point here is that fire seasons are going to get more intense as the climate changes, and it's not entirely logging's fault. It's not entirely the fault of controlled burns that I talked about in a previous video. The point is, as the climate is changing, we are seeing these wetter years and wetter winters that spark more growth in our own environments, and then inevitably, as that growth dies back when the wet season ends, it becomes fuel for these fires. And as we have these warmer temperatures, we have more records being hit. We have the hottest temperatures in recent years being recorded in places like Death Valley. It is something that needs to be addressed. And as we look at the election coming up, it's important to support candidates that are going to take it seriously. Now, yes, we've had good things happen, like the Great American Outdoors Act, where funding has been secured for the national park system. Places like that are public lands. But the problem here lies that, at least in the verbiage of that bill or act that I read, that funding is tied specifically with fossil fuels, and fossil fuels are part of the problem. Never mind the fact that fossil fuels are eventually going to run out. They are not an indefinite source of energy, but that's a whole nother topic that could be gone into. So right now, as we're looking at all these little red blips all over the West Coast, at least of the United States, if we're thinking about the fires recently in Australia, climate change, whether you believe that it is human-induced or not, is not the point. The point is the climate is changing, and these are sobering realities that we have to think about. Documentaries in the works blaming the logging industry, which, yes, if you are logging forests that are adapted to deal with climate change, or not climate change, excuse me, deal with wildfires, the removal of that vegetation that is the cornerstone for that ecosystem, of course, is going to mess with everything there, but that is not the only thing increasing the intensity of these fires. Another conversation I've had with people when I was bartending at my own bar back when there were all those fires raging in, I think, Oregon last year, saying that it was awful that logging was being kind of inhibited because of its national forest or whatever, and mad that logging couldn't happen because, oh, the trees are burning and logging helps prevent forest fire. Now, that's also not true, but that's, again, another whole topic that could go into in a video. The short of it there is it's not the massive trees that are being cut down that burn in the fires for the most part anyway. Yes, those massive trees do burn when the fires get intense enough. However, in an average fire condition, those trees are adapted to withstand that. The point here is we do have these fires. It is something very serious that we need to consider, and as our climate continues to change, as we see these wetter, more frequent and more violent storms in the winters that are going to spark these very green springs and lovely lush vegetation that's going to eventually turn brown as the spring fades into these very intense hot summers, we're going to see more frequent, more violent fires as well. And that's not necessarily fear-mongering, it's just a thing that's going to happen and something that needs to be thought about. And personally, I think that we should be supporting candidates that are going to take that seriously and are going to at least take the steps to address the sobering reality of a changing climate. And these wildfires are just a way for us to actually see what's happening. It's unfortunate that that's a thing that's making some people snap to attention, but it is a thing. So I realize that I'm rambling here a little bit now, but if you're still with me at this point in the video, I really do hope that you get out there and vote for policies that are going to help the environment, help people, and please don't necessarily just take my word for it. Do research on your own as well. I do strongly suggest starting at websites like the CAL FIRE website, but I also have quite a few sources in my wildfire video that I will link down in the description below as well, so you can go take a look at that. So I hope that you get out there, and if you are in the United States, vote in November and educate yourself on what is happening and what we need in our policymakers for humanity's sake and for our environment's sake as well. And if you're not in the United States, please encourage people to vote and give a damn, because that would be much appreciated, and figure out what you can do in your own homes as well. And I'm sorry this one wasn't super cheery, but I'll see you all in the next one. Thank you again for watching this video. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and ring that bell if you would like to see more. And if you'd like to follow me on any of my other social medias, the links are down in the description below. Don't forget to check out thereptilegoth.com for all of my articles and blog posts. If you found any value in this video and you would like to help support the channel, please check out my Patreon page. That link is also in the description down below. And a special thanks goes out to my Diamond Dragon patron, Diane B. What you're doing is really helping me fund a dream here. I will see you guys all in the next one.